Well, it's come down to the final issue of the Three Jokers, this very, very long delayed project by Geoff Johns, Jason Fabok. And it's been a detective story, and I think has been a very strong one. This is, I think, when collected, it's hard to say at this point if it stands up with the Killing Joke and some of these very classic kind of Batman stories over time, but it certainly is a contender for one. Very nice issue. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, this is Perch. It's hard to believe in October that we're finally at the end of the Three Jokers, a 3-issue Black Label book promised, if way back when there was still a New 52 for that matter, pre-Rebirth. But it got delayed and delayed and delayed, and then finally it's out. And in many cases, the delay, I think, hurt it in the standpoint of, a lot of the kind of the attention and just everything DC had going on. The concept cooled a bit. But fortunately, we still have a very strong detective story. And it's interesting to see kind of a lot of the takes on what this comic was going to be, and kind of the overuse of the Joker and what was going on turned out to be inaccurate, or at least answered in this issue. So getting right into it, we basically recap the story in the sense, by the way, the Fabok is putting in like the art performance of a lifetime here. Really just solid blocks. This feels like a story that could be rendered out in kind of the 80s when this kind of very tight sequential storytelling was really the norm. And we see the criminal, the clown, and the comedian, the three Jokers that were introduced to us at the beginning of this series. And of course, Jason Todd shot the clown. And we're in the Batcave, and basically Bruce is identifying kind of all these people who have been infected from the previous issue that they've come across. And kind of the plan is laid bare pretty rapidly, which is that the three Jokers have been abducting people from across the city in an attempt to make a better Joker. So basically giving the Joker serum to all these different people, which then, in short, reveals that the plot here is that there is one true Joker, but they're trying to make the ideal Joker by putting different people, different personality types, different things into with the Joker serum to make a new Joker. So this leads to an argument, of course, between Bruce and Red Hood. Jason Todd, who is on edge. Everybody's nerves are very jangled. Jason Todd shot one of the Jokers, kind of sending him spiraling down this path. And as they go through it, they're trying to narrow down into who is the true Joker at this point. Is it the criminal, or is it the comedian, the two Jokers still alive, or maybe somebody else entirely? And we get some nice references. In this issue, we do start to tie it to main continuity. Now, it's been said that this comic is in continuity and not in continuity at different times by DC. But there's really not a whole lot other than a few small things that would prevent this from being in continuity. So the story definitely could kind of matter in the sense of the bigger story. But after some debate in the cave of what to do, Jason departs. The entire Bat family departs. Jason and Barbara head off to investigate what's going on. Batman is sent to Blackgate, where, of course, the Joe Chill has been taken. And of course, that person has strong historical ties to Batman, being the person who shot Batman's parents. So as Batman is going through Joe Chill's room, he comes across a number of letters written to Bruce Wayne, but never sent. So kind of he goes off to hunt down that mystery. And they're starting to kind of tease maybe Joe Chill is more involved in this than you think. Maybe he is the true Joker, or maybe how does he factor into all this? Meanwhile, Barbara and Jason are talking about what happened. Barbara is still wrestling with standing by while Jason shot the comedian Joker, and basically is wrestling with her own demons. Both characters are getting some really nice development here. In many cases, stronger than what we're getting in their normal titles. But Bruce, kind of investigating kind of what's going on, is trying to get into, was Joe Chill writing these letters on his deathbed, or what was going on there? And ultimately, in the stack of letters, the last one is written in blue and purple kind of crayon, and it just is said Batman instead of Bruce Wayne. And inside of it is a ticket to the Monarch Theater, of course, the famous theater from Batman's past. And he and Barbara and Jason all head to the theater, which is clearly a trap of sorts. So they all take separate entrances. Again, some really nice line work here of kind of seeing the three people taking their own approaches into the theater, kind of how they're going through. Barbara carefully picking a lock, Jason using acid to take out the lock. Bruce has just got an open door. It's very, every step of this is really designed to kind of highlight, both through the story and through the art, the differences between the characters. And that work is really strong in this. So they get in, and we see a film starts playing, and basically the criminal Joker has captured Joe Chill, and he's making him confess. A bunch of Jokerized kind of theater attendants come pouring out to attack Barbara and Jason. Batman is consumed with the very serious, very deadly criminal version of the Joker, who reveals that he has dynamite all strapped to him. And there basically is revealing the plot that the criminal Joker wants to make Joe Chill the new Joker. And so as they're doing this, the comedian Joker here is basically confronts Barbara with the camera that we saw from The Killing Joke. And so that, she's reliving her demons here in the sense of that storyline. And Floor moves away, revealing a giant pit of Joker acid or Joker chemical or whatever you want to call it there. And he's got very, very kind of classic, I'd say 50, campy Batman story in the sense of we got Joe Chill suspended on a chair over this vat of acid, and they're going to drop him in there, and that's going to make the ideal Joker, a Joker that's firmly tied to Batman's origin. You're hearing a little bit of, he wants the Joker to be the most central person in his life, not Joe Chill. And so as Jason and Barbara are kind of wrapping things up, they're taking care of the other Jokers as well as the comedian Joker. Batman kind of leaps in, is able to grab Joe Chill kind of as he falls at the last possible second. Theater is set on fire, saves him, bursts out through the wall, and we have a brief moment between Joe Chill and Batman showing that Chill has kind of recanted for his actions, was driven to this out of jealousy and kind of out of it being a horrible decision that he made earlier in his life. And just as the criminal Joker kind of rises up, is about to kind of pull the explosions and kill them all, he is shot by the comedian Joker, leaving only one. And comedian Joker says, "Hey, take me in." He wants to get off the ride, and he's done. So basically, we get a brief moment at the end of, or here with Barbara and Jason having some words. Jason wants to explore kind of the romance angle that was briefly teased there. Barbara's not really interested in it. She's kind of wrestling with her own things. She does make an offhanded comment to Commissioner Gordon that what I do isn't your business, Dad. And that's probably the story of like, does Commissioner Gordon know that Barbara is his daughter or not, is written randomly in various titles. That's where, that's probably the one element here that is not in continuity if you compare it to Batgirl number 50 that came out this week. But at any rate, they head to the hospital, or to the prison, sorry, and they're having a conversation, and we get kind of the reveal of another element to this plot, that the comedian Joker is saying, he basically he set up this plan. He manipulated the criminal and the others into going after Joe Chill, and that he wanted to prove that now he could be the greatest pain, not Chill, because Chill has recanted and kind of tried to make amends. And the Joker is now central as his biggest villain. He'll cut you, he'll hurt you, keep twisting that knife until the day we both die together. And that is kind of how that sequence is left. So you're still not completely sure if this was the one true Joker here who is setting all this up, but it's plausible that it was, and it was a very long game kind of Joker plot to torture and manipulate Batman, and was successful in that regard. So we get a kind of a final sequence here where Joe Chill is basically dying, and he dies in the hospital. We see his gravestone. Meanwhile, up in Alaska, some time has passed. We see Bruce Wayne kind of driving his Jeep here, and he's in snowy Alaska, and we get a brief sequence between Alfred and Bruce talking about it'll never be over for Barbara and Jason. We have kind of a heart-wrenching scene here where Jason basically wrote a bit of a love letter, let's try to make it work together, and taped it to Barbara's door. You never tape it to the door. You slide it under the door, you dummy. But anyway, he tapes it to the door, but as he walks away, the letter, basically falls off, and it's swept away by a janitor called Funtime Cleaners, meaning Barbara's never going to actually read kind of him opening up his heart to her, and ultimately like keeping them trapped. He says, if you don't think I'm worth one chance, it was all that you were just caught up in everything, then throw the letter away. I'll never mention it. I'll understand. Whatever happens, I love you. So basically, it keeps everyone, even through this event, Barbara is still clearly tortured, and Jason is not going to be able to kind of move on. Everybody's kept in this status quo, which is a dark kind of take on some of this. At any rate, we get a final sequence with Alfred and Bruce saying, do you know who, we'll never really know who the Joker was. And Bruce says, no, I actually knew the Joker's name 1 week after we met. And we reveal this kind of last bit sequence that is kind of hard to, it could be positive or negative here, but basically that we find this pregnant woman who had maybe an abusive husband, and she went to the police, basically needing to escape. The police came up with a story that the wife had an accident this morning, and she died. And this ties into some of the Joker origins we've had in the past, but with a new little bit of a twist. And so they send her kind of away to Alaska to go into hiding with their son. And this is kept a deep secret, because if the world ever knew, the press would find them, and they would come after this woman who went into hiding with her son, and that would the Joker would find them, and it would wreck this attempt for her and her son to have a new life. And so it concludes with, yes, I know his name, but the Joker's name isn't what's important, and it never has been. That's where our issue concludes. So, in the end, this was a detective story. It was a very different kind of Batman story than what we're currently getting. Had a lot of depth, had a lot of nuance, had a lot of really great character development. I still think that a lot of the work that was done both visually, so a lot of credit to Jason Fabok and Geoff Johns, was really strong in this comic in terms of really putting together this overarching mystery and plot. It did wrap up the loose threads. It got us back to one Joker. It got us back to kind of this kind of central theme of what's going on. I think this whole thing, this collection, will be controversial to some. It won't work for others, but it will have a timeless quality that I think will, through the years, survive as a strong kind of character study between Batman, the Joker, and Jason and Barbara. And I think that's solid. It's a nice book. I think this is a perfectly good, reasonable, great issue. I think I wish there were more comics coming out like this, because in the grand scheme of things, having read tons of comics over the decades, this isn't necessarily the best story. Well, it's not necessarily. It's definitely not the best story I've ever read by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a solid, good story. And it's perhaps elevated a little bit by we don't get this kind of methodical depth of planning and storytelling much anymore. And so that's a shame, but a really solid issue. Recommended, pick it up. Definitely go grab the collection if you're waiting for that. But some really good stuff. Highly recommended. What did you think? Did you read this issue? Did you like it? What worked for you? What didn't? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe. As always, check to see that you're still subscribed. Follow me on social media. Send me an email. As always, thank you for listening.